One of the biggest challenges for companies today is generating new business. And 74% say their sales team isn't making enough dials to hit their revenue goals. Fear of rejection was the number one reason why sales teams aren't making enough dials per day. And in this quick video, I'll show you how to improve your sales numbers in 30 days or less by training your in-house and remote sales reps without spending tens of thousands of dollars. So let's get started. First thing is this: once you sign up for salesbuzz.com, you go to login, you click student. What's going to happen is you're going to log into this right here. One of the first things I want you to notice is in the top left corner here where it says live sales coaching and reinforcement. This is where you're going to go on a weekly basis if you need help, you want to role play, you ran into a couple of objections you weren't sure how to handle, etc. This is where you would go for that. You click this little spot right here, this little drop down, and you'll see the next available time slots. You just click this link, you log in, and you'll be able to role play with me, ask questions, and it's a live interactive session there. All right. With that being said, that's where you get your help and your private coaching and your reinforcements. With that being said, here's how the course starts. Session 1, your new opening value statement. This is where it's going to teach you how to custom create exactly what to say to pique your prospect's interest in the first few seconds of the call. If you can't pique your prospect's interest in the first few seconds of the call, nothing else matters. And this course is going to show you how to do it and how to do it fast. So the first thing you'll notice here is before you pick up the phone, you're going to see this is a 10-minute video, right? All these videos are short, right to the point video. And this is what you can notice right away. This is animated video. The reason why that is so important is I want you to be able to not only hear what I'm saying, but actually visualize what we're referring to. When you can visualize the problem and you can hear the solution, you put those two things together, it's going to help stick longer. Okay. So again, this is also called micro learning. It's very effective as far as changing behavior and getting better results. Short to the point videos and lessons that you can immediately put to practice and see benefits on. So when you're done with this 10-minute video here, next thing you'll do is you'll go to your quiz. Your quiz here, you have to go ahead and pass. You have to get 100% in order to pass these quizzes. If you don't get 100%, by the way, they are from a data bank, so everybody is getting different questions. If you don't get 100%, go back to the video, rewatch it, take your quiz again. All right. If you need help, you reach out to us. Next, how to pique your prospect's interest. Again, another quick 8-minute video. This is where it's going to show you, now that you have the basis from what to do before you pick up the phone, this is going to show you exactly what to say for your vertical in your industry that's going to get the most people to want to have a conversation with you. Once you learn that, you take a quiz, and then the next video in that same lesson is getting your prospects to continue the call. It's a 4-minute video. Again, it's going to show you exactly what to do to, once you've piqued their interest, to get them willing to have a conversation with you. And if you can't have a conversation with somebody, you're not going to close any deals. So this is why this lesson plan is critical to get things started. When you're done with that lesson, you have your materials. So for example, your one-page sales call strategy. You can print this out. This is in essence of what you're going to be learning as you go through this training program, right? I break the sales process up into 4 quadrants, almost like baseball, right? Every time you pick up the phone, you're in the batter's box. Your sales reps have to get to first base first. They have to know what first base is, and they have to know where it's located. And then even if in baseball, if you hit a double, you can't run from the batter's box across the pitcher's mound to second base. You have to touch all the bases in a row. And sales is the same way. Because if you start skipping steps, that's where you start having bloated pipelines and missed targets. When you're hitting all the steps, that's when the deals in the pipeline are going to have a high percentage chance of coming through. And your sales team needs to know what these steps are and how to execute them, how to get to each step, and then what to do if they run into a situation on one of those steps. And this course is going to show that in spades. But for right now, this document here, you can print it out. We want them to have it on their cubicle, their desk, but it gives them a visual of all the different steps that they're going to be going through to go ahead and make more sales. Next in the materials for lesson 1, you have your step-by-step guide, your openers. This is your cheat sheet. You print this out. Then you go to your customizable word-for-word template script. This is where there's multiple different types of openers that you want to use depending on the situation, from cold calls to warm calls, okay? With that being said, you'll be able to custom create it and what to say. And then next, I actually have audio examples of how to say it. A lot of people think it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That's actually factually incorrect. To get better results, it's what you say and how you say it. And I give you examples on how to do that here. Next, you'll have your role playing guide. Now, listen, I know the only thing salespeople hate more than cold calling is role playing, but what I can assure you is iron sharpens iron, and you have to role play the right way. We've broken it down, so you have this guide here on how to role play and the different levels of role playing. Just a few minutes a day before you hit the phones, and you're going to start seeing an excellent improvement right out of the gate. Okay, that's all lesson one. All of that will take about an hour to go through. What we recommend, the clients that get the best results, they set aside 1 hour a week. They do this lesson plan. They can do it on their own, but they come in back to work ready to roll. Or if they do it at their desk during lunch, whatever, once a week. But then we want them just to get on the phone for the rest of the week, putting to practice what they've learned in lesson one. So it becomes part of their routine, their habit. They're going to start seeing better results from day one. And so now the momentum is turning. The fear of picking up the phone's going away because they're getting better results. And so now they're making more calls. They're starting to have better conversations. When you're done with that and you're ready, then go to the second lesson, which is your gatekeepers, voicemails, and your emails. All right. So if you're getting shut down by gatekeepers, nobody's calling you back in your voicemails, your cold emails are getting ignored, this is the lesson plan for you. And it's the same process, right? You watch the video, take a quiz, watch another video, take the quiz all the way through, and then you have all your materials. When you're done with that lesson, again, we recommend take a week, put to practice what you've learned, and then when you're ready to move on to the next lesson, you can. The next lesson in this series, engagement questions, is probably the most important out of all of them, minus getting the conversation started, okay? Most salespeople, let's just go here. See that? By the way, that's a good point. See this here? Prerequisites have not yet been completed. So as for an example, as a student, I can't move on until I complete these other ones first. That's critical because you want your sales reps to make sure they're understanding and learning everything in the right order, not just blazing through this thing and not getting any benefit of. So they have to complete these things first. All right, so I'm glad that was there. With that being said, the engagement questions, most salespeople, once they get the conversation started, or they get the prospect on the phone, they either start picking random questions out of the air when they quickly lose their prospect, or they do a data dump and they normally hear, just send me some information, or I don't think we'd be interested in that, or we already have something that does that, or just no thanks, not interested, we're all set, right? And that's because you're not asking the right questions. And so this is going to show you how to get the conversation going. When you're done with that, then you have qualifying. And if that's as far as you want to take it for your sales rep, if they're a BDR, they're setting appointments, whatever, great. They're going to start setting qualified, pre-approved, if you will, appointments. Now the AEs can come in. Now, when it comes to your AEs, if there is a handoff, you don't want them just jumping in from the presentation. You need them to know how to call that person. Even if it's a set appointment, you have to know exactly what to say, even on a set appointment, to get the conversation going. And it would be wise of them to recap and go back and make sure they understand the pain points, the hot buttons, the purchasing process, all of that stuff before jumping into a presentation. So it's really important for AEs also to go back and learn this stuff, so when they make their calls, they can start closing better deals. With that being said, when they're ready, you go to the presentation, objection handling, closing module. Same thing. Start your presentation, 10-minute video quiz. How to wrap up your presentation, 9-minute video quiz. Step-by-step guide, starting your presentation. So you have all the materials in here, and then you get to objection handling, and you have the materials for that as well. And then when you're done with that, then it's on to follow-up calls and referrals. Then you have goal setting, time management. Then there's a final exam. And then you go ahead and once you pass your final exam, the sales rep can put their certification on LinkedIn, things of that nature. But it's a really good accomplishment. Besides, when it comes to training a sales team, knowing that there's a certification at the end, but they're going to have to pass the final exam. Nobody wants to be that one sales rep that doesn't pass, so they take it more seriously. So that's why that's important. You have 12 months access with the program. They can go back. Once they go through it the first time, they can go back and watch as many times as they'd like. Now, with that being said, let's say if you are a sales manager and you have a team that you're managing, you may have noticed when you go to salesbuzz.com and the login, for student, that's where students log in. For a manager, this is where you would log in because you get your own dashboard. Here's an example. So with your dashboard, you have the number of students, enrollments. You can see your students that are here. You also can check the reporting, their progress reports to see how far along they're coming, who might need a little help, who hasn't started it yet. And then you could go ahead and check their grades and see how many times it took them to pass a certain exam, etc. All right. All of that is contained in one solution. This way you can train inside sales reps, even if whether they're in-house or remote, and you can have full control over it. They're getting the information that they need in a timely manner, and it's not breaking the bank. If this makes sense to you and you sounds good, just go to salesbuzz.com, hit pricing, or book a demo, and we can do something a little bit more in depth. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.